Hello, welcome to another edition of XFeed. Today we got a great show, and it's great because we have a gentleman by the name of YoJurmy jumping on here. If you're interested in the parallel ecosystem and wanting to learn more, we're going to have a quick kind of 10-15 minute deep dive with him off the start of the show, and then we're going to get back to your regularly scheduled XFeed entertainment. Now, if you are wanting to give him a follow, it's at YoJurmy here on X. He's got a site that completely breaks down everything regarding parallel, and a very, very good friend of mine. So let me bring him up here, Mr. YoJurmy. Good morning, sir. Give us the rundown about how you got started within Web3, and then maybe a little bit about how you found parallel, because it seemed to be the alpha. You were screaming it in the Discord. You were telling us, yo, you need to be paying attention because this is going to be a big deal. And a lot of people listen to you. And of course, I thought about it, but I didn't dive in the way that I should have.
Yeah, so Web3, I mean, I was familiar with cryptocurrencies going back all the way to like 2012-ish, like 2014, very early beginnings of it, but I didn't get involved until after I graduated college. And then my first foray into NFTs was Top Shot, NBA Top Shot, with you in the crowd. Just searched it up on Twitch one day, found your stream, and then kind of started that community from there. And then we hopped into Ethereum NFTs. And then that's kind of when we discovered PFPs and the very beginnings of Web3 games and Bored Apes, such things like that, Artifact, CloneX. And then when I started trying to find like what games actually like attracted me, one that stood out was called Parallel, and that was before their very first drop. Um, I liked their idea of sci-fi trading card game. Trading card games aren't really what I was into at the time, but I think a mix of that and the genre of it being sci-fi really lured me in. And to be honest, I fudded myself out of the first pack drop because I was there for it. I was ready to dive in. And then something went wrong. I can't exactly remember what, but it was like, oh my God, nah, this team, like they're unknown. It's a rug. Um, so I fudded myself out of it and I didn't end up participating in pack drop one. And then I saw, like that week that, hey, they actually did get the drop going. People did get, cards, NFT cards, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe it wasn't a rug, but still kind of sus. So come around pack drop two, I was like, you know what? I've been rugged by worse, so let's just participate. So I've been in since pack drop two. Been a part of the project since before, like August 2021. Well, not a part of the project, but a collector in the project. Yeah, I have no direct affiliation with Parallel. Just a long-time collector and an even more recent player. Probably been playing the last 2.5 months. Uh, and people have been playing for a lot longer than that. I did participate on the alpha that they did a long time ago, but it was just like a handful of games. Um, I didn't really have anybody else to talk with about it. Like the people in the Discord and whatnot. I didn't put in effort to like talk to the first party community either. I was just kind of too busy trading other Ethereum NFTs. But now that I've had some time to just get used to the game, read up on the lore, read through the comics, get familiarize myself with the meta and the cards, it's been a great time. So yeah, currently we're in like season 5, season 6. It's Ogden Core Battle Pass, so just grinding that at the moment.
Love it. So with the ecosystem, there's a whole lot in terms of there's avatars, there's the prime token, and then it sounds because we on the X feed series that we have here, and for anybody tuning in for the first time, basically I go and bookmark a whole bunch of stuff that I see on the X feed, and we go over different thoughts, opinions, and Kaolos, I don't know if I'm saying that right, is the founder and kind of the head guy that's running Parallel here, and he talks a lot about bullish things and narratives and just kind of it's very insightful in my opinion, and he's been talking about how parallel is going to do a lot within the AI space. However, for a lot of people on the outside, they're looking at that, we just say, hey, this is a card game. So talk to us a little bit about the token, and then what the founder has been kind of yapping about on the timeline here.
Yeah, so it's kind of two different things, but they are related. One is there's parallel, and then there's Echelon. Echelon is kind of like the foundation behind the actual ERC20, like the governance community behind the ERC20 of Prime. Um, and then Prime, yeah, we'll dive into that. But if people kind of want to follow along or like take a look at it for themselves, they can go to Echelon.io, Echelon.io. There they can find out a lot more about like what Prime is, how you earn it, and then how it gets like what's the current supply, what's the lock supply, the distribution and the sinks and whatnot. Uh, bottom line is that if you own complete sets of like Alpha or Genesis collection cards and you stake them, you can earn Prime. If you win games in ranked with NFT cards in your deck, you earn Prime. If you have like a Prime drive, you earn Prime if that is staked. And then there's maybe a couple other ways. And then upcoming in the game that aren't there yet are in-game tournaments where you can wager Prime and then earn Prime, right? If you perform well. There's not many details about the in-game tournaments out yet, but that's the gist of it. And then there's obviously a whole rabbit hole to dive into that. And then as far as like what Kalos is saying about the colony AI avatars, that I'd imagine will bring some additional prime syncs. What prime syncs are essentially a service, a product, anything that you can spend money on in Prime, like spend Prime on when you spend Prime on something in a first party sync, what makes it a sync is that a portion of that Prime goes back to the um, or goes to the distribution of different parties, right? Uh, so that would include the gameplay pool, Echelon, cached Prime drives, cached in this IP means staked, and then cached pair sets. So you got four parties that it gets redistributed to. Um, Also, calling the AI avatars. So currently, avatars you can use them as a PFP within the parallel TCG, but they're working on a um, Unreal Engine 5 uh, actual game that's being made with the avatars, in addition to um, na- what am I trying to say here? Like natural language processing and AIs and large language models and just different things where you can actually control your avatars. You can communicate with your avatars for them to participate in the game for you. So it's kind of like this partnership, and you build up this. You put in some equity into this relationship of making your AI into who it will become within the game, and then you can just kind of like AFK watch it as it goes and does those things that you told it to, or maybe it doesn't. Maybe it tells you like it gives you reasons why it can't or what it may need in order to do that. So there's a lot to dive into there as well because it can actually code for itself. There's like boundaries that these avatars have where if you say, "Hey, I need you to go catch fish because you're hungry and I don't want you to starve," right? And if the idea of fishing or the idea of a fishing rod does not exist in the game, the AIs actually have a capability if it's within those boundaries to actually create the code and create the assets that's necessary to create the fishing rod to go and catch food.
That's wild.
Yeah,
So, I
it's
mean,
pretty
it
wild.
it does seem that they're trying to tackle a lot of different things here, but obviously the trading card game is kind of the alpha, if you will, of what they're doing, and it's really getting the mainstream attention. And you're starting to stream it more. Kind of for anybody that's watching, that's maybe wanting to get in, what's the best way for them to kind of learn about the ecosystem and kind of dive in as ground zero?
Um, well, there's two sites that I always recommend right off the bat, which is Parallels website, of course, their first party one, but then also prime.wiki. Uh, Neither of these are like I have any affiliation with. Those are just two really good ones. Those would tell you more of like a factual based thing, right? Like it's concrete, it's detailed. Like if you want to know what something is or what something does, between those two sites, that'll tell you what you need to know. And then I've started working on a more like a player based website, more like a resource based website that they can go to. It's just primeplaybook.super.site. You can find it in my profile link. This one is more from again like the player perspective, and I'm gonna more focus on the beginner perspective as well. So that way, like, cool, I now know what a prime key is, but like, do I want one, or what price, would you say to get one, or what keys are important? What's the route that I should actually take to become a collector in this IP or a player in this game versus just looking at a dictionary. But and again, that's not like a knock on those sites. You need to know what things are, but then there's another perspective of it, like why do I care what this is, right? And then what route should I take? Like you just asked me, and like what's the best way to get involved? What's the best way to start getting to know more about the game? What's the best way to start playing the game? What's the current meta? How do I go on my way to start creating like a 40/40 deck? So those types of questions is what I plan to answer on that site.
Do you want to bring up your site just so people can kind of see what the layout looks like and just so they're familiar? And we got JVB down. If you are watching on Twitch, he's throwing the link in the chat if you guys are wanting to join it. And obviously for the YouTube channel, once we're done all this, I will throw the links in the description below. When we get down there to it. And what's up, JVB Buffalo? What's up? I have an avatar and some cards, but I just can't get into them. I go back and try every once in a while. It's just so confusing. And also, shout out to Real Conja. Hello, sir. Happy New Year to you. But I mean, Jeremy, what do you think about the aspect of it being too complex? Is it just kind of a thing where it's card games, it is what it is, or it only is really complex if you're trying to figure out all these accessories to earn that extra prime?
I think it depends what topic specifically they're talking about, but in general, I can actually agree with them. Like regardless of what topic it is, I think currently the IP itself can be pretty confusing. Much less like the game, or even more so the game, right? The gameplay, the mechanics. I think they do a really great tutorial, but then they just kind of throw you in rookie mode, and then it's kind of like fend for yourself. It can be very much like you feel like a minnow in surrounded by sharks. I don't even know if sharks eat minnows, but you get the visual. Um, and then plus, you look at this site that I have here. One of the big reasons I created this site was, again, I told you earlier, like the link tree, it can get pretty complicated, and even all the links that you see in Parallels Discord server can get very like you just find
I don't think
yourself
you're sharing your
wondering.
screen, by the way.
Oh, in Discord, I'm not.
I'm trying to see it, but I don't see.
Hmm.
Uh,
I can try redoing it real quick. You see it now?
Sorry, I just noticed that a second ago. No, let me hold on a second. I'm gonna close your pop
No
out.
worries. I'll just talk a little bit about how I agree that it can be confusing because just on that thought, there's like probably close to 20 different links of collections. Like if you wanted to actually own the NFTs that you'd have to know about, and you'd have to know the nuances of them as well. Like for example, you have Parallel Cosmetics, which hold some art cards, card backs, skins, and emotes and stuff like that. But then there's also cosmetics within the actual Parallel Alpha collection, which is the first collection. You can find card backs in there. So not all the card backs are in cosmetics. And then also, you do have to find out that there are some cards that are on the base network, and then you have to ask yourself, well, what is the base network, and what wallet do I need there? How do I bridge? Things like that. And then echoes, then you wrap your head around echoes. Like, how do I make echoes? What do I need in order to make them? What's renown? Why do I have to spend prime? Okay, I have to spend prime plus gas. So you have to learn all that, bridging between networks. What's a starter deck? What's a digital collectible? What's an NFT? Um, so there's just a bunch of things, and then you talk about just earning prime. Earning prime it is straightforward, but it can seem overwhelming because you can earn prime by having NFT cards in your deck. You can earn prime, additional prime, boosted prime by having an avatar, by having a stacked keyframe, and then by being on a win streak. And then there may be some more, but those are some of the ones that come to me right off the top.
I do have your site up, by the way. I realized that I turned off the non-video participation
Oh, okay.
screen, so you're good to go if you want to give us a quick little walkthrough on here.
Sure. Yeah. So again, actually, let me just shout out those sites again, Prime Wiki, because this is not like to shout out my site at all. It's just honestly, I want players who are either involved in the game or want to be involved in the game to have the best resources. Like I just want to be able to help them uh, come along and participate in the ecosystem and know what the best route for them is. So Prime Wiki, this again, this is more like a. They do have some blogs in here, some weekly recaps, but it's more like a glossary, like a dictionary of hey, what is what. Even getting started, you can come here to the basics and then find out how many cards are in a deck, what's your HP that you start with, what are all the keywords, right? So this is really good stuff. Breaks down the card info or the card structure. It breaks down the board structure and the different card types. So that's a quick rundown on Prime Wiki. There's a lot more to it, and then obviously just the parallel.life site itself. But one way to navigate this would probably be to go to FAQs, skip all the stuff that's in big letters, and then just go to the smallest word on there, FAQ. And then when you go to FAQ, this is going to help you a lot. Again, parallel basics here, and then you can learn more about what echoes are, and then why they spell echoes, OES right here. But on the official collection, they spell it without the second E. You can figure out what PC requirements you need to access the beta, how to access the beta, what are apparitions, and things like that. So again, there's a lot more. This is more. This is the best FAQ section. Prime Wiki is more like the glossary than the dictionary site. And then on my site that I'm spinning up, this one here, you have a bunch of the quick links to their official socials. You have all the links to their official collections via OpenSea. And then if you come down here, you scroll down and click on resources and tools. I have the absolute best, like there's hands down. And I'm not saying I'm not like pumping my site. I'm just shouting out all these resources and tools from other websites that people have that are incredible. So it's nothing that I've built. I've just aggregated them here to shout each other out or to shout them out because it's not like Paralink is going to share parallel decks, right? Paralink isn't going to share prime pools. They're not really marketing each other. Like, why would they, right? They're separate tools. But these are the ones that I've found helpful. So there's quick links to these if you want to start building decks, for example. That's in the deck builder section. Click on Paralink, and then you have quick links to their website. And then I list some of their features, and then I also have a list of how specifically I use the site. And I feel like that's what kind of people want to know. And I keep it as brief as possible. And another way that you can use this is I will be putting up guides here. So gameplay basics, how to get through rookie mode, how to best efficiently get through the battle pass. Um, what keys do I recommend to start off with, and things like that. So that's kind of the route that I'm taking here.
So I find it interesting when different Web3 collections do certain things within the creator economy. And I was seeing on my timeline the other day where if people beat you and sent a screenshot, they got something. So give me a rundown of exactly what that is, and then we can let you go after that.
Yeah, so resources, if you come here, those are my friends over at Paragon Style. They will be a bond in the future. So a bond will just essentially be a community where you can share your excess cards, or maybe you just don't play the game. Maybe you're a collector. You can share those cards in a bond. Other people can use those cards within that bond, and then they take a percentage of the prime that that player makes, right? So, but now that player can earn an additional amount of prime because they have more NFTs. But then a percentage of that prime goes back to the bond and then gets paid out to the people who shared those cards to begin with. That's Paragon's DAO. They also do some other stuff, uh, including the little mini game that you were just talking about. So you can head over to their website or to their Twitter. This is where you can find out what events and activations that they're doing. They also have another site, which is like a marketplace and analysis tool. I won't get too much into that, but this is also by them. It's called Priming. That's by Paragon's DAO. To answer your original question, though, is this is just a bond, a community, the largest third party kind of community in the parallel ecosystem. And some really cool people over there just wanted people to enjoy ranked without, not necessarily just constantly thinking about the prime earned. um, so what Ted did, and Ted's not even his real name, but it's DeFi Ted, and what he did was he created this cool bounty system where he tagged a few of us in terms of he let people know, hey, if you see these guys on the ranked ladder, no matter if you win or lose, um, come into our Discord, tag them in a GG, and then we will throw you into a pool to earn PDT. PDT is not Prime, but PDT is essentially related to Prime. Um, PDT is kind of like their pool of uh, so you can read more about it here. Stake PDT receive in-game tokens, right? We give 30% of the game tokens we receive to those who stake PDT. So if you're earning Prime in-game, they take 30% and give it back to those who are staking the Paragon style token. But yeah, that was a pretty cool activation that they did there. I found it more fun because I didn't know if the people on the other side, like if they knew if I was like a bounty target or not. And then people who won, they actually got into another tier of like a pool to earn even bigger rewards. So that was not something that Parallel did themselves. They had no part in that. But Paragon's DAO, again, they're such a huge collector and community within the Parallel game that they just put that on themselves. So they gave away PDT, they gave away cards, and something else. I can't quite remember what, but that was pretty fun.
Nice. Love it. All right. Well, YoJurmy, as we're wrapping up here, for anyone that's tuned in, what's the best way to connect with you? We'll highlight your X profile and whatnot, but how often do you stream, and what's the lowdown about how to get in touch with YoJurmy?
Yeah, Twitter's probably the best place. To be honest, I kind of ignore most Discord messages, so do not spam me on Discord. But Twitter is definitely the best place. And then if you come to this site and just DM me, hey, like I would find it useful if your site had the answer to this question related to Parallel. I'd be glad to throw it on there. I have a huge backlog of stuff to fill the site out with. But if they come here, then my socials are here as well, Twitter, and then they can just watch me on Twitch, either by clicking this link or the one at the top right on live, and that'll take them right to my Twitch channel. I stream about 2 to 3 times a week and would love to answer any beginner questions.
YoJurmy, what a man. Thank you very much for jumping on, and hopefully we'll have you on again sometime soon, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. Good luck, everybody.
Yo, thank you. Okay, let's get into the fun stuff, guys. If you like having experts from different games, whether it be streamers, people that just tweet out a lot, if you enjoyed that session, please let me know and I'll try to get in contact with more people. But luckily for YoJurmy, I've been friends with him for quite some time, and again, just follow him at YoJurmy. And again, thank you so much. Okay, so let's get into the stuff for the typical X feed. Hunar, Ray Stinger, DJ Toasty, Mr. Young Snow Wolf in his prime is live, baby. Hell yeah, bro. I don't know who needs to hear this, but if you use OpenSea for any reason in 2024, then you are a loser. Bro, is this what we've come to? Where we are judging people based off what marketplace they use. Now, granted, people have said, oh, why hasn't OpenSea done this? Oh, OpenSea screwed creator royalties, all this other stuff. Listen, there's a hell of a lot of hate in the world, and apparently a ton of it is for OpenSea. Yesterday, I'm opening up my timeline, and these are the first 2 tweets I see. These puppets are something. Selling the rest of my Bitcoin puppets here. Could absolutely keep running, but people getting euphoric and influencers are shilling it now too. And I'm like, okay, what are Bitcoin puppets? Okay. What the hell? What in the absolute hell is going on here, Brew? No freaking way. So Bitcoin ordinals are apparently completely taken off here, and I have this maybe a little bit out of order, so I'm gonna move this one down just a little bit. That one's out of line. Yo, hold on. Yo, I totally screwed up a bunch of these, but I wanted to go into a whole ordinals piece, and we'll get that into a second. Listen, this person that was a streamer, people thought they were making crack. Listen, they were cooking steaks in the parking lot. I don't know what the hell's going on in 2024, but ladies and gentlemen, we have problems in society. Apparently, Sega, they're releasing a retro watch. I don't know. Listen, I know JVB is Monsieur Connoisseur of the good stuff. I don't know what we think about these. There's like a little dial there. It's Sega. It's got branding. It probably cheap as hell to make. Do we want a new watch? And not really. You could be Kevin O'Leary and wear one on each watch. I saw Orangey talking about this. this. Got to play test Blood Loop. I haven't really seen this game before, but incubated by C5, a 5v5 tactical hero shooter game integrated with blockchain. If we click on the site real quick, do the 60-second scanner here. Looped in the battle. We're going to reject the cookies. There's a sneak peek. They have a team deathmatch. 2 teams face each other to the death with the goal of captaining the other in the number of kills within the battle time limit. I don't think I've ever read the description of what team deathmatch is, but now we know. That's great. No one like you. Create your own avatar. Inside the hub, you can create your avatar and customize it just like you. Each item is an NFT. You'll be able to wear it or trade it freely within the game. When you are ready, jump into the portal and start playing. And so we have some of this other stuff. But you can craft, trade, all that stuff with different NFTs. But it sounds like it's maybe just a little bit away. But still, Blood Loop, if you're wanting to check it out, incubated by Cetify. Toasty, the watches look cool, but no way they're worth what Anacorn sells them for. Probably not. So this is interesting, and I know Dip Collector watches these. So what's up, Dip Collector? How are you, sir? If you haven't seen, yesterday there was a big announcement about Ready Player One teaming up with Futureverse to kind of create this Readyverse, and all these headlines are just basically saying, hey, Ready Player One is creating their metaverse, right? Like, it's not necessarily Web3 allocated conversations that we're seeing across the timeline. And I saw this comment from Dip Collector saying it will be built on the Root network. In case anyone is interested, check out the Root token, which currently trades around 7 cents. And I think, part of me was like, okay, like, that's cool that you're informing people, but at the same time, like, for anybody that just thinks like, hey, there's an official Ready Player One metaverse, and then they're like, oh, this is a crypto token. I don't know if that's even going to be like a prevalent thing within it. Like, sure, it's built on it, but the team has said, there's only going to be like 1% of people that are going to know the ins and outs of that. And is everybody going to be buying this token? Potentially, but I also think that it's going to be more in like kind of the, it's not as forced, but if it is forced, I think that that's going to be very, very interesting to see how that kind of flushes out. This is from Trevor.btc. Everyone on Ethereum right now, in quotes, my biggest NFT miss was not getting into Bitcoin ordinals. And I mean, we just saw those puppets that just looked hella interesting. And I mean, is it something that it's just a fad? I mean, maybe not necessarily. People, obviously thought of that before. Maybe they don't want to get familiar with moving funds and figuring out the whole Bitcoin ordinals. But then, as we talked about yesterday, 2 days ago, where there was people saying, oh, if this certain collection was on, this network or able to get in this way, I would buy it. Leo was saying here, ordinals X Mutant Hounds. That's the tweet. So if we remember, like a week ago, everybody was like, oh my God, we missed the Solana train. Solana. Literally 2 days later, everybody's screaming about Bitcoin ordinals, which I mean, what do we think here? But for these node monkeys, which you might have seen that have been going completely viral, let's talk about this super quick because I thought this was a good little breakdown for a collector's guide. They were inscribed on February 14th to February 15th. There was very clearly a lot of care and thought put into the traits and how they were distributed. As someone who has done this, trust me, with pixel art, it's very difficult to get this right. Some cool combos, they have a 1/1 Gold King, a 1/1 Pure Bot, a 1/1 Pure Pepe, and then 2 Death Bots with eyes and a body. The single Addy are really cool. Only 31 exist. That Pepe and the Gold Crown. So those are some different looks with that one. They have zombies and eyes. They have double VHS. Pure the second rarest head trait. And then cross earring, only 50 exist. So not going to go through the entire thread, but kind of an interesting little breakdown if you haven't seen those. And Ray, you're on the whitelist for Blood Loop. Awesome. That is nifty, good sir. People buying node monkeys when CyberKong gens are actual nodes for banana. I'll just let the kids have their fun. So this is kind of an interesting topic because we have assets that have some form of yield with the Genesis CyberKongs. It's I think like 10 banana a day or something. And I think the token's now at like $10. So it's like $100 a day. Obviously, if you're familiar with the BAYC ecosystem, there are NFTs that you could stake with the ApeCoin, and then you earn off of that. There's other ones where for Futureverse, if you stake Root, then you earn Vortex that has this whole thing. And then there's the ones that are just NFTs, right? But the NFTs that are just kind of images, provenance, whatever, they are yielding a lot. So everybody's got different ideas of, hey, do you want to earn something? Do you want to just have something that's provenance that could go up strictly on demand? It's all the way around. And price drives narrative, not the other way around. Again, as things fly, we're suddenly like, damn, we're bullish on something. Something dips and crashes. It's over. We're not talking about it. Interesting in terms of clothing. I feel like we haven't really seen many clothing brands try to take on the Web3 space. We have seen a few of them try to do it before, but not necessarily the case. But interesting here that Reboot is teaming up with 9DCC. If you don't know, this is G Money's clothing brand. It's rather basic clothes in terms of like when you look at it, unless they've changed things, it's like all black tees for the most part. I still think they look all right. Well, let's see if we can actually bring up one of the clothing pieces here. Oh, they've added a little bit more here, so they got different hats. Okay. Collections. Iterations. Actually, sorry, this was the first one. So iteration 01, I believe. Elegant with a subtle thing. And again, these, everybody's trying to create something. Is this going to be a high class for individuals? They have obviously Bryson there and some other individuals. I mean, I don't know. I think it looks okay, but I also think that they're super expensive. But interesting to see that this bigger Web3 based clothing brand is teaming up with Reboot Protocol, which again is looking to do a lot of different things. Justin Van Eck pledges to donate 5% of their Bitcoin ETF profits to support Bitcoin core devs for 10 plus years. Get ready for the marketing, get ready for the narrative, get ready for everyone to try to get your business for the ETF. This is fantastic by Van Eck. And if you are interested in hearing a little bit more from people that are involved with Van Eck, I have an interview on my channel with Matthew Bartlett, who is launching Segment, and you might have seen some videos of me on the Segment page, and you'll see more of them. So if you want to go check out that interview, I highly recommend it. And for Battle Plan, at the end here, you can win a Cybertruck. And at first I'm like, wait, hold on a second. Is this like the Mutant 8 Yacht Club kind of aspect with what they did with the prize for it? And kind of in a way, but apparently you get this NFT and then it's redeemable for a physical Cybertruck. They can pick whatever they want, right? And it's interesting because put your marketing cap on for a second and say, okay, we have, let's just say, I don't know how much the truck is, but let's say it's like $100,000. We say, okay, we have $100,000 that we can create for a prize. What creates the biggest buzz? And does your mind go and say, oh, yeah, a Cybertruck would do that, or is it anything else? I'm curious what you got. And who knows?
Oh yeah, Brew, we back.
Oh yeah, Brew. Who are coming in with a fatty 1 monther for 35. Holy sheesh. Thank you so much, sir. But it's interesting, right? Just like the different perspective of, okay, if we had that much money, what could we want to go with it? Streak ended. Wait, actually, that's tough, Brew. AI and crypto go together like melted ham and cheese, unless somebody doesn't like ham or is lactose intolerant. Just adding that. You will see they are perfect complements of each other, and the combo will be totally delicious. So going back to the conversation with YoJurmy we had a little bit earlier, obviously there's the, okay, Parallel is trying to do an AI component. There's blockchain. For Futureverse, they have the altered state machine. There's AI. We can kind of go down the list here, and we're seeing more and more AI components going into the blockchain because it's verifiable, and that's what we are going to need to do here in 2024. Hunter Solar talking about their highest conviction bags. So let's see what they got here. The time of buying 1 or 2 NFTs from 100 different projects is over. Agreed. To come out on top, pick 3 to 5 projects, build a borderline insane conviction, and grab as many as you can. For I'm like pretty all in on one, but people do talk about diversity. Okay. 5 of the easiest bets going into this year. Skyborn, they raised $30 million, 2 years into development, 140 employees working across 2 studios. They have an ecosystem token plus lots of values to holder, almost too much. Risk, the company is based in the US. Holy. Next up is Seedify. They have the focus on gaming, high launch ROI last cycle. S Fund is an easy way to bet on gaming bull. And they have a refund mechanic. I can ape first and think later. Maybe we'll have to look into that refund mechanic later. Risk, they don't launch the best projects. Well, I mean, that sounds like a little bit of a risk. Pixelmon runway until 2027. Confident in the team. Ecosystem token plus multiple games. Token less likely to go to zero because of them having multiple games. Indebted to holders because they funded the company. And the risk, the token and game expectations are high due to large primary sales. Infinigods, Infinigods have some kind of like casual browser games that I've done, and they're pretty fun, to be honest. They have 3 live games and ecosystem tokens been hinted at. It's a bet on mobile and GambleFi, and they're rewarding NFT holders as a priority. And the risk is integrating Web3 while being on the App Store becomes too difficult. And then Fablesborn, 8 million raised, game inspired by Clash of Clans with better combat. I feel like there's several games that are kind of trying to go for this Clash of Clans look. Value for holders isn't clear. Main reason they are still cheap and criminally low market cap compared to other gaming projects. So interesting. Haven't really looked into many of the ones that they talked in there, but also, we'll kind of see what names we see trickle across to say, yo, this is the alpha, and what happens in the next couple of months. Okay, opening my timeline yesterday, we had the Bitcoin ordinals thing, and then these like birds wearing dresses and other things. Refresh your metadata. Metadata. Listen, it's metadata, but because their name's Metaria, you get what I mean? Funny, hilarious marketing. Okay, so when you quickly look at these, they have Genesis NFTs, join the quest. There's some other things, and they have like a sandbox in here. I mean, do we want to go through all of this? I mean, again, we're trying to do our quick like 50, 60-second check of like what the site is, good vibes, bad vibes. Wow. All right, we have an entire world that's being broken down here. We can zoom out if we go to About Us here. Mitara is a community-driven ecosystem that unites through the love of animation, movies, music, fashion, and games. We are a center for creative talent from across the globe to connect, co-own, co-create, and co-author new experiences, bringing imaginations to life and nurturing a community of animation enthusiasts. And then they're partners with Rumroll, Animoca Brands, The Sandbox, Lululand, Pellar, Translucia, MQDC, Peach Worlds, and I don't know anything after The Sandbox here. That is interesting. Materia is the first Web3 backed project in TNB Media Global's portfolio of 5,000 plus IPs. TNB Media Global is a world-renowned entertainment company aligned with the wider MQDC and CP group ecosystems, making Metaria a part of one of the world's largest multinational corporate alliances. Sony Pictures, Netflix, yada yada, and then the teams are using, I think, the real names, but otherwise just avatars on there. So, I mean, I don't know. That looks interesting, kind of. Thoughts. Whoops. Let's go back here. Top 10 countries most interested in Bitcoin ETF. So when all the rage came around this Bitcoin ETF in the States, I'm like, okay, well, in Canada, we already have them, right? Like, obviously, everything's, country to country. It's easier if things are in your own country, and obviously there's a lot of capital within the United States here, but it's interesting that we have Luxembourg, St. Helena, Singapore, Switzerland, Austria, Germany, Canada, Netherlands, Hong Kong, and Cyprus. I mean, I don't know. Some of these feel like they're super small countries, but I mean, I guess if the entire nation is all in on Bitcoin, wag me. Tipping with the money once rewarded good service. Now it determines how consumers are treated per CNBC. You go through a drive-through, they're asking you for a tip. You go into a restaurant, you're like, all right, things are busy and chaos, and then everything's in a tip. The tipping culture is absolutely crazy. Generally agree. However, it's kind of hard to like say how it determines how consumers are treated because you pay afterwards. But I mean, the people remember. And I think in high school, I tipped a waitress like 60 cents at the Pizza Hut buffet. We don't talk about that. This is probably the weirdest thing that I also do not understand how in the halibut it works. Introducing Points Marketplace, the new standard to trade points from Friendtech, MarginFi, Camino Finance, Hyperliquid X, Blur, Blast, and Get Grass, which is something we talked about how they could use some of like your internet power themselves a couple shows ago. How the hell does it work where you could sell your Blur points? Recently, it has become increasingly popular for projects to launch their product to the public along with a point system. These points are awarded based on certain activities, such as contributing to the volume / total value locked of the protocol or referring new users to the platform. Points have demonstrated their effectiveness in bootstrapping product usage by introducing a speculative asset. Bottom line, many users speculate that the points might even eventually translate into a token airdrop, which, to be fair, has been the case for several projects. Today, we are thrilled to reveal Whales Market is now expanding its features, offering to become the go-to OTC marketplace for points. Starting as soon as next week, people can sell or buy Friendtech points on Whales.market as we deploy our contracts to base chain. How does it work? The process is straightforward and shares similarities with airdrop allocations trading. For sellers, enter the amount of points you want to sell, specify the price you want to sell it at, and deposit a security collateral into the escrow. And vice versa for buyers. Sellers must post a security collateral, and buyers have to deposit the money they're bidding for the points, secured by open source codes. Once Friendtech drops their token, the escrow will initiate the official conversion from points to tokens, and the sellers will have to deposit the corresponding tokens into the escrow, which again, I don't know how this works because how do you trade any of the points on these things? Like if I have like a couple of Blur points, like I don't think I can transfer them. So I'm still like kind of confused. Like I get the concept, but I'm still not totally there. And the sellers will have to deposit the corresponding tokens into the escrow. If sellers fail to honor their end of the deal, they lose the collaterals to the buyer. So, okay, if they don't send the points or if when the airdrop happens, they don't get it, everything is on chain and provable at all times. Whales aim to be the go-to OTC marketplace as more and more protocols adopt points as their GTM strategy. Whales are making points liquid. The longer projects hang on points before dropping their token, the higher the volume and fees Whales will capture it. Details for minimum amount of whales to be eligible for rev share, how to claim, and other FAQs. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just because like I'm focused on reading and not screwing up, but I'm still kind of confused how it works. I think it's wild, right? Like this is absolutely going to get the attention of people, and this further incentivizes potentially Blur farming and for these other ecosystems as well, maybe doing some crazy things within that. So yesterday we highlighted the Paul Barron Network, and they've been posting a ton of clips from their stream and really do enjoy what their show has. And this is coming from Yats, who again, airdrops are not Ponzi's. They're actually marketing dollars that are going to the actual end users who have proven their activity. And here's kind of the full clip.
Right? With decentralized IDE, with an NFT ownership, you can now directly target them. And who benefits mostly? The end user. Because not only do you get what's relevant, I'm willing, and this is how airdrops work, right? I'm willing to give you something because I know that the chances of you being valuable to me is much higher than giving it to the platform. So I'm willing to overspend. And last year, $110 billion was spent on CPI ads on like Apple and Facebook and these crazy platforms. And how much of that $110 billion went back into the actual gaming industry that paid for it? Like literally almost nothing, right? Now and so this is where people go, oh, airdrops, and sort of free NFTs. It's like, oh, isn't this just Ponzi? Isn't it just no? It's marketing dollars that are going to the actual end users who have proven their activity, right? And
I think
take it a step further.
I think so many brands have kind of gone the spray and pray route, which is what you're talking about in terms of digital ads. But your point is well taken in the sense that some brands have started to realize this is really zero-in target marketing because you're going to the root of where the user base is that is a really engaged user base. And I think that's also why we've seen any kind of NFT or blockchain loyalty platform have so much success is because it kind of cuts out all of the spray and pray approach, because you're really zeroing in on your best customers or your best
Absolutely.
partners.
I mean, TLDR, wag me when airdrops. Let's get ready to rumble. Mochaverse, speaking of Yatsu, who again is a massive player in the Animoca Brands ecosystem. First started covering Mochaverse at 0.6 in my cord, and on here provided updates along the way, and here is the latest. They are at 4 ETH again, at @eat_insanity. Chris is a great follow. Really enjoy seeing what he has, but it looks like we are going to finally see what the Mocha coin is going to be. It's an omni-chain network token created to reimagine the Web3 culture economy by empowering unity in culture, governance, and growth. We'll see what this kind of does in terms of hype, but here is the full video that they had for it. Okay, dude. What talk about an announcement of an announcement? Well, I mean, they're just highlighting that it's built by. But then, listen, where's the token? Come on, start showing stuff. Let's go here. Another bullish news for the crypto space. Chelsea FC, one of the biggest football clubs in the entire world, 25.4 million followers alone here on X. They're partnering with a crypto exchange. We're excited to announce a new partnership with one of the fastest growing crypto exchanges in the world, BingX Official, who become our official sleeve partner. Tell me 2024 is not going to be the year of crypto without telling me. And I don't know if I said that right, but you get the idea. Holy sugar shit. I have no idea these were even a thing. What are your rarest artifact kicks? Did Artifact actually make these kind of shoes for these massive brands before they got acquired by Nike? Or is this something that's later? Because there's another one in here that they're highlighting, like these are... I mean, that looks official. It's Artifact. It's Twitch shoes. Like, that looks pretty damn good and cool. So I'm curious if this is kind of like a more recent thing or something that's just from before. And again, Apex Legends on these ones. Kind of crazy. Sick of watching the same group of people get rich off every new collection with their whitelist, pre-sales, and honoraries. There is nothing decentralized about opportunities here. My only response to this would be, I think that there is a realm where we could be like, all right, like these people that are kind of the focus for a lot of this stuff is stupid. They're the same thing, but also... okay, how many new people are trying to create an audience, trying to build up what they were? There's a lot of people that are, getting these honoraries and whatnot. It's because they've been in the space for so long. They've been trying to provide value in one way or another, and they've gotten the audience where they get rewarded for it. And so I agree that it kind of sucks that there's a lot of the same people here for that, but also how many new people have you seen really taking a spotlight over the last little bit to take that over? The market for character IP brands is huge. We know Blue, right? For Cool Cats. I mean, also for the coda that's in other side, we have Curtis the Ape. We have the Rainbow Doodles Puke, which I don't know if that's actually like a character name or just known for. But it's estimated to be worth $180 billion plus. But what is the pathway to success? Let's explore. There are several stages in the life cycle of a successful character brand. 1, artistic vision, identify core values and target audience. 2, early years, establish the brand, develop the universe, content, and foothold in at least one media sector. Expansion growth, grow via collaborations, tap into new audiences and new geographical markets, go transmedia. Maturity, focused on monetization with merchandising, licensing, and other channels. Most NFT teams are still at stage 1 or 2 today. It takes time. Some of these top brands took 2 to 3 years plus to get peak attention, and they kind of show what Paw Patrol in here is. Super Plastic the show, and I don't know what Tokidoki is, but it's got a hell of a name. The NFT teams that win understand this. It's about bringing the brand to the masses, not bringing the masses into buying NFTs, and this is highlighted. They're tagging Doodles, Pudgy Penguins, and then Clay Swords. Oh, they follow. Yo, would you guys want to have Clay Swords on? I didn't. Maybe I'll reach out to them. One of my predictions for 2024, a few NFT character brands surprise everyone by going viral and growing exponentially in the mainstream crowd. Going to be a fun year ahead. Wag me, brother. Pixels Online, in that Animoca video that we just watched a second ago, this is one of the games for that, I think. Hold on. I don't want to talk out my ass here, but I think this was a part of it. But it's on the Ronin network. Maybe it's not. But either way, they're talking here about their play to airdrop, and it's a 2-week event as your last chance to earn Pixel before the release. To get a chance, you need to complete quests to earn badges and get points. Only the top 7,000 players get a secured airdrop, so it'll be a massive grind. So how to qualify: you play the game, complete for quests, referral link, and own the land. Is it something for you? It runs for only 2 weeks. Top 7,000 players. Raffle of 1,000 airdrops to players with over 3,000 points. And I don't know what they mean by DAW, but 100K of that. So I don't know. Kind of interesting. Haven't really been playing the airdrop or grind game in that capacity, but if you're wanting to check it out, again, it's on the Ronin network. Things are getting really hot and spicy over there, and obviously with 155K followers. So I don't know why almost every stream we have some kind of thing that FUDs Overworld on here, and this is the FUD. Overworld assets sitting at over 4,000 in ETH without one gameplay video shows how much of a bubble Web3 is and how it's a trader space. No beta, no USPS identified, no GTM strategy, nothing, just good Web3 marketing to degens. Not hating on game founder, seems cool. There was a lot of things that were kind of crazy about everything that's happened with Overworld, and I uploaded a YouTube short yesterday from one of the X streams we did back on the 15th of a lot of people that had these whitelist allocations that were then revoked after Overworld really started picking up some steam prior to their mint. So we'll see what they do. Again, I hope that things go well. So this is from Matt Rabbit. If you guys don't know and haven't seen, typically for a lot of these 2D NFTs, how it works is that there's a base model and then people draw over it. And I thought, damn, there might be people that haven't seen kind of how this works, but here's a quick little time lapse of they had the base model and then what it looks like to kind of design something on top of it for these different traits. And that's why or how these NFTs are generally designed for the generative aspect of things. All right. An interesting phenomenon of why we get 10x and 100x S quite frequently in a bull run is the following. This is for you to agree or disagree with. People's portfolios grow beyond 300,000 and sometimes 7 figures in a bull run. That's why they don't even care about 4-figure bags, and they wait for them to go up by 10% and become worth $20,000 or more. They are too lazy to even check the project's progress, to look at the chart and to consider taking profits. That's why many bags fly much higher than in a bear market, because in a bear market, people immediately take profits after a 2x, but in a bull market, they only consider taking profits after a 10x, especially if they are bullish on a project. The only thing that I have to say with this is it's absolutely true that people completely disregard and stop paying attention to their bags. I have people that are like, yo, like I got into this collection and then I hit them up being like, yo, what do you think of this announcement? They're like, well, I have no idea. And they've literally missed the entire past several months of things and they just don't care. I don't know if it's the bear market spurning people and they don't care if things have been progressing too slowly, but I find it wild how many people just flat out stop paying attention to a lot of their things, even if it's their only bags within Web3. And drive is greater than talent. True. Listen, we've been live for every day of January so far. And not that I have the talent on here, but listen, we got the drive right now. And I generally agree with this statement. All right. So yesterday I was like, listen, there's actually some bad things that happen in Web3. People get gypped on things, and Logan Paul making a huge apology, but also basically saying, yo, we got rugged. from these devs and the people involved with things, and then we have an apparent response to that. So let's check out what this entails.
What's going on, y'all? Attorney Tom here. As many of y'all know, my legal team and I, we are the lawyers suing Logan Paul and the rest of the defendants in the CryptoZoo class action lawsuit. And today's video is actually an emergency update requested by a number of our clients regarding the Logan Paul CryptoZoo buyback. But we decided to make this video public because we think it's important for all the CryptoZoo victims out there to understand what is going on. Because in my opinion, I think this buyback is a sneaky trick. And I wish I could say I'm surprised by the actions of the defendants, but I'm not. So if you look behind me, here is the statement released today by Mr. Paul. I'm not going to cover a vast majority of this statement, even though I think it's filled with a bunch of inaccuracies, misstatements, and quite frankly, just PR spin. And the reason I'm doing that is because in the coming days, we're actually filing an amended complaint, which is going to answer a lot of questions, I think. This is something we've actually been working on for a while. It's just kind of a coincidence that Mr. Paul is doing this now. But I'm going to mention one part of this statement, and I'm going to do this later. This buyback is for base eggs and base animal CryptoZoo NFTs. Only the NFTs, only the base NFTs, not the zoo tokens or the hybrids. Now, why is this important? This is important because if you decide to do the buyback, there are terms and conditions in that buyback. Now, I'm going to read you these terms and conditions. It says, by accepting these terms, you acknowledge and agree that you are waiving any actual or anticipated claims against Paul, as well as against any related personal affiliates, agents, partners, employees, service providers, or representatives for monetary or equitable relief arising out of or in connection with CryptoZoo, including but not limited to this buyback, your purchase of any zoo tokens, or purchase of any CryptoZoo NFTs. So he's saying this is only a buyback for the NFTs at their mint price, at a lower price of Ethereum today than it was when you bought it, but you're also waiving your rights to pursue Zoo Token. And that is pretty ironic because in the one section of the statement that I'm going to talk about, he basically victim blames. He says, this buyback is not intended to compensate those who gambled on the crypto market and lost, referring to the Zoo Token. It's important to remember that Zoo Token was created to support the CryptoZoo game and its players and was not intended as an investment vehicle. Mind you, Zoo Token, the founders assigned themselves billions of these Zoo Tokens. They attempted to pay service providers, developers in Zoo Tokens, allegedly. Allegedly, they bought Zoo Token at an artificially low price because they stealth launched it, meaning they stealth launched the game to themselves, but not the public, so they could buy it up at a low price. They sure acted, in my opinion, like Zoo Token was an investment vehicle. Zoo Token, there was billions of dollars in trading volume in Zoo Token, yet for their NFT buyback, they have no problem getting people to waive their claims for Zoo Token. It's just so disheartening. It's just so disheartening to watch this kind of action unfold in real time. I would have loved if Logan came forward and said, here's the refund, no strings attached, start recouping some of your losses to our victims while we pursue the Zoo Token aspect, right? But no, he has to try and put strings attached, and this just feels dirty. It feels deceptive. Obviously, our recommendation to our clients is we're still pursuing this case anyway. Our recommendation to clients is that do not engage with this refund because of this language. We're still going to pursue, and I'm just worried that a victim out there who has one NFT and $5,000
what a greasy operation,
$1,000 of Zoo Token, or $10,000 or $100,000, whatever it is, they're going to get their $200 refund for their NFT, and as a result, the rest of their claim is going to be waived. It's just disheartening, and I think people should know what the consequences of that are. That's why we're making this video. Do with that what you will. All right, everybody. Bye.
What a spicy turn of events. And guys, as I ask every time, if you happen to have one friend, if you enjoy watching this show, please share this with them. I've seen a huge uptick in subscribers, followers, all that stuff. So really greatly appreciated when you guys do just let one friend know and they might enjoy this. And we got to chit chat with a few more people about the topics. And Solana Mobile, the phone. This is, I mean, it's funny because early days in Bored Ape Yacht Club, there was a few people that posted about their packages getting stolen or broken into because it had the BAYC logo on it. There was very few people that really understand what those are, but for the people that are aware, right, that maybe work in the mailing departments, they're like, oh, listen, that's valuable in there. I'm sorry at Solana Mobile, but what you did is just plain stupid. Here's what happened. I ordered a Solana phone, cable, and protected case, eagerly anticipating its arrival. After waiting for some weeks, it finally came. However, upon opening the package, I was shocked to find the phone missing. The box was poorly sealed with unprofessional tape, indicating someone tampered with it. The bigger shock came when I noticed you wrote what is inside on the box. Okay, dude. It's like an invitation to theft. I'm really angry. This is just plain stupid. And you can see how awful that box looks. And then they have 3 Solana mobile phones on there. Although when I'm looking at this, I mean, I don't know if you can see, like, how do I know that box is Solana related? It says Origin. I think it says Origin Solana. So maybe it was that, but crazy, unfortunate, and yeah. So I was talking to Hunar, right? And I was like, man, all right, what are some of the crazy things that have happened out there? Do you guys remember when Steppen was like the bee's knees? People were out here trying to download the app. They were suddenly walking again. It was like Pokemon Go 2.0. They thought they were going to be billionaires from earning the Steppen token. Haven't heard from them in a little bit, but still, it's their recap of the 2023. And they're just saying, win amazing prizes of 10 years and all this kind of stuff. Never mind. Okay, I got debated because this said Step and Recap 2023. But it's just an event. But let's click on this super quickly. 560,000 followers. Holy jeez. That's actually nuts. I didn't think it was that high. They have a contest on here. I'm just trying to see if there's okay, so how to redeem Genesis Hero token. They have a cat. I didn't really think Steppen would go in for that one, but it's not. It's showing some other thing. It's a coupon for something else. I don't know. Listen, I just wanted to highlight this because it was crazy about how big it was back in the day. But yeah, if you haven't looked into it, Steppen. So this was a game that a couple people were highlighting because it was a dev that was like either them or it was 2 people, and they're building a shooter game essentially, and it looked super high quality. And well, I just haven't seen it talked about on the timeline a whole lot, but some of the last posts in here were back in September. Yeah, I've just kind of not really seen anything going on with it. But if we go to the Super Tripland site here, is it still playable? Is it still ready to rock and roll? New daily login. Okay. Whoa! Holy jeez, that scared me. My bad. I don't even want to claim anything here. I just wanted to see how this was. Apologies, I definitely blew out somebody's speakers on that one. Satoshi Shopping Center. All right, Web3 experience, Web3 experience, Web3 experience. A lot of loud dingings on things. This is super, super laggy. Holy moly. All right, well, we tried that. Didn't really work, but if you're wanting to check it out, it's at Super Trip again. Apparently, it's just like 1 or 2 people working on that game. Curious to see how that kind of goes on. We are not here to compete with different projects. We are here to help them thrive. So at Futurist Conference, which is a blockchain conference in Toronto, this guy came up and talked, and he was highlighting this Adiyami project, and basically they were building a computer that was just a plug and play blockchain computer that was literally just this blocks. Introducing the Cube, your custom blockchain console and private personal server. Our protocol incentivizes you to provide access Cube resources to other games unique to each player. Every aspect of your physical and virtual and YoJurmy playing experience is tailored specifically to you. And they had like this kind of weird thing where you could buy like a box and it came with different things, and it was like a collector's edition of a video game. And I don't really know what to think of it, but if you guys are wanting to check it out, it's at YoJurmy Project. You're going to want some effing EVO7s. These are absolutely insane, and I agree. If you remember some of the early showings of the Pixel Vault Meta Hero Universe avatars, and specifically for what we thought were going to be kind of the mid passes, things changed a little bit. But with that said, for some of the final ones here, apparently there's only 10. These are created by Chris Wall. We did see the gorilla earlier. It looks a little bit different here, but they have a bear. And it's wild just to think of what the valuations of some of these things are going to be when everything launches and you have, we talked about the character IP brands and stuff, and it's just, I don't know. I think some of the stuff that's hyper exclusive one-of-ones are going to go for some crazy money. But apparently for these EVO7s, you can unlock your tokens that you vest from their ecosystem that's supposed to take like 700 days, and you can do it in 7 days with one of these, but there's only 10. So people are talking about the rental methods of things, and that's going to be very interesting to see how we go. And Fresco, sorry, I didn't see you up there in the chat. What's going on? Good, sir. Okay, In-Betweeners, if you don't know, this was a collection done by the artist or a brand designer friend of Justin Bieber. This used to be Justin Bieber's profile picture on a couple of social media platforms, but they just dropped a surprise, the Mystery Box Redemption, where luxury high-end airport lounge access intersects with Web3 tech. In-Betweener holds who own a Mystery Box. Secure your global lounge meta membership today for an enhanced airport experience. Selling all my bears on OpenSea if interested. When did Mystery Boxes come out? 2020? Like, bro, why do we have an airdrop of airport lounge access for this NFT? Huh? I mean, I don't know. And this was pretty crazy. So imagine being able to borrow against your NFTs on ETH and trade on Sol or Say without needing to bridge any asset or manage fragmented liquidity. This is what Parallel is building. Omni-chain is the future. The Parallel mainnet is now open for developers. Parallel is the first omni-chain L2 blockchain built on Arbitrum that unifies liquidity from any chain into one place. One account, instant liquidity across any chain. With more info, I think that's kind of crazy. I use Parallel to stake my ape currently because I don't have the ape coin to go with it, but very curious to see how this works with loaning and other NFTs that do significantly go up in value, because there is a very small subset of NFTs that are even able to be eligible to be used for liquidity, and then obviously ones that are kind of like within that price range for that. As we kicked off the beginning of the stream with YoJurmy, just wanting to remind you, if you are wanting to go check out what he's got to offer, it's at YoJurmy. If you're tuning in just a little bit late, please go back and check out the beginning of this, because we do go over Parallel in depth with him and a lot of other things that you may have missed. But that is going to wrap up the final episode of X Feed for this week. It's been a blast. We've done every single day, and we are planning to do every single Monday to Friday, at least next week as well. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you on Monday. Enjoy your weekend. Peace, peace.